All right, all week we've been bringing you the stories of Fontana Dam in western North Carolina, the families who were forced to abandon their lands to make room for the lake it formed, and how it was involved in making the atomic bombs that ended World War II.
But today there are some original inhabitants left behind in family cemeteries, and getting to those cemeteries is a challenge. Fox 8's Michael Hennessy joins us now here in the studio. Michael, the road to nowhere was supposed to lead them to their dry lands.
Katie, Neil, as you may remember, there was a road already built. It was supposed to get those people to those grave sites, Highway 288, which was then flooded partially. It does lead to one cemetery. Getting to the rest is an adventure in itself.
The water level in Fontana Lake fluctuates.
The old town of Ritter was right out here under the middle of the lake.
In years with normal rainfall, it changes by about 56 feet from summer to winter.
There was electricity here in Proctor in 1905.
Its purpose is still providing power. In the summer, its net dependable capacity is 304 megawatts.
History is his story, and we need to make sure people know what the story is.
As summer 1945 turned to winter and 1946, only 50 families remained in the newly constructed Fontana Village. They weren't secluded for long.
And then what's happened to all of the southern Appalachians.
In 1946, the village was opened as a privately run public resort.
That's the economic driver that's going on in southern Appalachia all over.
And today, the dam's secondary driving force is tourism.
The Fontana area is very unique. It adds yet one more dimension. It has reverted to wilderness. It's back like it was 300 years ago.
2 million people travel to Fontana every year. Surrounding towns, too, have transitioned, opening their doors to strangers.
As I look back at their lives, and I realize the sacrifices that they made and how it is so important for us to bring this story forward and to use it in a way that can benefit our community today.
And while those millions come to visit,
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those folks.
a select few have stayed to visit. 1976,
Anybody riding up?
the bicentennial of the United States.
There was a big emphasis on community and heritage.
Helen Vance and her sister organized a reunion.
There's leaving so many of their loved ones there. And that's just the story in my cemetery. There's got Proctor, Bone Valley, and 26 other cemeteries. Some of them are real small.
Of people who once made their home on the North Shore.
And the cemetery was in bad shape. They had little trees about 3 feet high, just all over the several places in the cemetery. And the monuments, just 2/3 of them were just leaning or falling, some on the ground. And it just broke your heart to stand there and look at it.
Payne Cemetery can be reached by road. Here you'll find graves including those of veterans from the Civil War to the Korean.
If you look at it from the big picture, we own the park. This land was ours before it was park land, and as it's part of the park now, it's still our property.
But when it comes to the other cemeteries, the only way to arrive is on the waters their lands now lie beneath.
I guess when I reached about 40, 45-year-old, it hit me, what is my legacy? Where did I come from? Where am I going? What am I going to leave behind?
A few times a year, the ancestors of the people in these grounds take a knee atop them.
You got to remember, this cemetery was established well before the railroad. So a lot of the older graves are marked with fieldstones.
Decoration days,
To gather here and to share and to fellowship, Lord, and to honor those that have passed.
where they shepherd new life and rejuvenate the aged. In the absence of humans, Mother Nature carries on.
All the trails are being grown in by laurel and rhododendron, especially where the hemlocks are falling.
With the promotion of a broken promise.
The road's a two-edged sword.
These are the few. An expansion of explorers could have escorted in true ruination.
More than likely, if there was a road, these cemeteries would probably be vandalized like some of the other cemeteries in the park.
So they'll tolerate the occasional outsider,
Of course, now the wild hog can do quite a bit of damage.
knowing the topography will go untouched, just as it was the first time the people in this realm traversed it.
The road was a big part of the story, but it's really just a part of the story.
For its tale was never about the end of the road.
Change is change. Period.
It was always
I'm glad that it's reserved. I'm glad it's saved.
the origin of something new.
But it really did give you an example of what we are really made of as a people. I'm talking about the whole United States, the American people.
We do want to add the National Park Service helps those people get to, keep, and decorate the grounds. For those of you who weren't here to join us earlier in the week, that episode was the conclusion of a 4-part series. So if you want to watch it in its entirety, you can do so by heading to our website. That's myfox8.com. All you have to do is search Fontana Dam. Katie?
Michael, thank you. A split